at the end of 2023, Trump is ahead of Biden in the polling, and actually on the issues is stronger than it would appear in terms of the head-to-head. I don't think the readers of the New York Times, not to bash the Times constantly, but hey, why not? Really, if you'd read the Times all year, would you have any inkling of why that is true? In fact, you would have the opposite impact. You would have the sense that he would be at 10% because he's so hopelessly enmeshed in not only fascist rhetoric, but also legal and constitutional dead end. Tell me, are you shocked by how well Trump seems to be doing?
Yes, actually, I am, because if you look at the numbers overall, he has maybe a third of the Republican Party true believers, and then there are maybe 10% who are never Trumpers, and the remainder are people who thought he was a pretty good president, think he's a terrible person, are looking for an alternative. But I have to say this, the thing that has really impressed me with Trump this time is that he's become a really excellent politician. He really knows how to deal with the issues that cut. For example, let's take his statement that he would be a dictator on day one, right? Utterly brilliant. It existed on 3 levels. Number one, he was obviously joking and tweaking. He was tweaking Bob Kagan and the people on the left who were predicting a Trump dictatorship. Number two, he wasn't joking. He's going to do a lot of the stuff that he says, that he's threatening. But number three, he was speaking in a very surgical political way. What were the 2 issues that he isolated, that he's focused on for day one? Number one was immigration, which is likely to be the most important, perhaps along with abortion, but immigration is likely to be the most important issue in 2024. And number 2 was drill, gas prices, inflation. Inflation is that very rare economic issue that actually impacts everybody. So on 3 different levels, Trump was communicating, and he knows how to do that. He does it constantly. Stand back and stand by. And it seems to me that, number one, there's nobody in the Democratic Party who is communicating with that degree of sophistication. Number two, the levels of disdain and disgust with Trump, which I share. I've known the guy for 40 years. He's one of the most miserable human beings on the face of the earth and most dangerous. But, those who are angry with him, and I would include, my never Trump friends in the Republican Party, people at the Bulwark, some of them, who just cannot understand why he's so successful.
Yeah, and you're right. I think the notion of his ability to get through to people on the issues they really care about is the key thing. I mean, for me, I keep coming back to immigration because for me it is itself a sense that I have that the government is broken, this is not an esoteric function of government to control borders. It's a core function of government. When he said if you don't have borders, you don't have a country, I found deep inside nodding my head. And I felt a relief that someone said it so plainly because it kind of focused you a little bit. And if a country can't actually control who comes into it or leaves it, it really has lost the ability to be a country, an understandable unit. And the other thing I think that he reflects, and one reason for his endurance is this, first of all, this resilience of his, this extraordinary invulnerability to being knocked. It's really it's Terminator 3. I just like, when does this guy stop? Part of it, I think, is because he's fucked in the head, but part of it's also impressive, but also this sense that everything is chaotic. No one agrees with anyone. Everyone's shouting at everyone. No one's listening to anyone. And in that context, the appeal of someone to say, I'm going to take control and figure it all out is very strong.